Harley-Davidson has been serving several masters for more than a century, and the publicly traded American juggernaut just hit the reset button with its extensive soft-tail line. Initial response was positive, but in an age where everyone's opinion gets aired on social media, the haters came out in full force. Not affordable. Not stylish enough. Not inspirational. Outdated. Doesn't speak to younger riders. My dad always said that if everyone liked 57 Chevys, the world would be a boring place. But we're talking about Harley, still one of the most recognizable brands on the planet, so I sought out someone who's chosen to take a hog by the bars and create something to fit his life and riding style without breaking the bank or making a bike without pizzazz. Canadian native Ryan Racine has lived in San Jose, California, since April 2016, and the 42-year-old former healthcare professional left behind a house he remodeled and workshop full of tools. Here's how he acquired his 2000 Harley Sportster 1200 a little over a year ago, based on the interview we did in Mountain View this past Sunday. When I moved to San Jose from Ottawa, I wasn't working and I needed something to do. I figured, let's find a motorcycle. I'm in America now, so let's buy an American bike. I had already tried an 883, and knew it was an underpowered toy for me. The 1200 was the cheapest of the Harleys I could find after several days of surfing Craigslist. Every time I'd find one for $5,000 or so, they'd get snatched up quickly. I found a 2000 Sportster 1200 with 50,000 miles and Lodi for $4,200, and spoke with the owner to meet somewhere near a Cal train station, like Stockton. He was selling the 1200 to buy a custom bike. I didn't know anything about that area, and planned to ride the bike home if all worked out. Little did I know about the high crime rate in Stockton, 3 times that of any city in California, so here I was on a train bound for a notoriously dangerous city with $4,000 in my pocket. My wife Trish was a bit worried, but it all worked out. The owner was an hour late, but there were surveillance cameras at the train station, so I felt somewhat safe. The kid rolls up on the orange bike, oil spewing everywhere. The rear triangle was full of oil, from the case's exhaust hose. It was obvious it was overfilled at the shop, so we discussed the possibility of getting it fixed. He said he needed to sell the bike then and there, and to make an offer. $3,200, I said, and the deal was done. I rode it home on I-580 and 880 south to San Jose. I was a little worried about the oil, but it was a fun ride home. That's when I discovered Patrick Fian's Moto Guild Silicon Valley, and where I've done all my work since. I did a lot of research on the Evo engines, and with proper maintenance one can squeeze out a couple 100,000 miles on the 1200. Everything is replaceable, and if push came to shove, I could drop in a new engine for $1,500. I can replace parts and customize the bike as much or as little as I want, but I can, which is one of the main reasons for getting the Sportster. The first thing I changed was the tank. A Scream and Eagle sticker was easy to remove, but the Jesus Christ HarleyDavidson I wasn't, because the original owner had clear-coated over it. They were obviously religious and believed it might have protected them or something, but the kid I bought it from took the easy route with his sticker. I'm not a fan of branding, so the tank was getting stripped regardless. Nothing against Harley, but the clothing, accessories, and whatnot seen just isn't my style. Back in Canada I had a garage where I restored 2 motorcycles, but I'm an apartment dweller now. After 2 days of chemicals and scraping the tank at Moto Guild, I stripped off the tank paint. The bare metal appealed to me immediately, so I left it. Then I did the same with the rear fender. The seat was next. I was looking for a leather tool roll to last me for the rest of my riding life. I'm handy, and after finding several rolls for $200 to $400, decided to make my own. Remember, I had spare time and was looking for things to do. I designed my own tool roll, then found half a cow's worth of brown leather for $130, bought punches and wax thread, and made it. I also made little leather bags, and by the time this was done I noticed my Sportster was rusting. Now the shiny black vinyl seat was looking sorely out of place against the patinaed bike, so I decided to make my own seat. I looked up how to do it, and took my seat off, stripped it down, and removed the rear passenger portion and revectored it and cut it down for reshaping with high-density foam. I recovered it with leather, using a baseball stitch where all the stitched sections get stitched together, much like the steering wheels of old racing and fancy cars. My sissy bar came along because I'm a latecomer to fads, usually by 2 years or more. I rode plenty with friends on Harleys in Canada who all had sissy bars. I never understood them. When Trish wanted to ride with me, she complained of not being able to lean back and get comfortable. I don't know how to weld, and I didn't want to buy a stock bar, so I designed something square to drill holes for a removable backrest. I found a local guy to weld it up for me, based on the angles and widths I wanted. All in bare metal to match the rest of the bike. I made a backrest for Trish's comfort, which doubles as a place to put a bedroll or duffel bag, like I did recently on a big ride to Las Vegas. The Sportster design holds true for many interchangeable parts and components from 20 plus years ago, so scouring NorCal swap meets turned up a patinaed front fender from the late 70s for $10. I bent the tabs out a bit to accommodate my wider tire. I also found a rusty intake cover with peeling chrome from an early 80s Harley that was unwanted but ideal for my bike. No aging necessary. The original bars, mirrors and grips were okay, but I don't accept standard parts if they don't fit my body or riding style. Coming from the bicycle world, where I always customized my bikes, it was easy to approach my Harley. AP hangers are the usual go-to bar with customizing, but wouldn't work for my 42-year-old body, which has seen more skateboard, downhill mountain biking, and inline skating injuries than is normal. I'm 6'3" and chose a chrome Buildwell bar. Not really my style, but I notice how Rida's chrome pipes change color over time, so I tarnished the chrome bars with a torch to take off the shine. I've done that with other parts of my bike for consistency, which always throws people off. This morning I came out of the bakery and 4 construction workers are standing around my bike. One of them asks, "I had to get a closer look at your bike, man, I thought it was an FXR or something." I've put 13,000 miles on the bike since I bought it. I've ridden all around the Bay Area, where in 20 minutes you're in the mountains and another 30 and you're at the Pacific Ocean. All told, I have $4,000 into the bike: $100 handlebars, $12 grips, $100 sissy bars, $100 headlight, $100 taillight, $120 shocks, $130 for the leather, $10 for the front fender, and a few bucks here and there for other raw materials. I need to replace my tires though. Harley-Davidson has an amazing cult following. Riders typically follow suit by buying all their Harley gear, customizing their bike with as many HD logos as possible, but that's not my style. The only discernible Harley logo on the bike is a sticker on my intake cover from the Harley Museum in Milwaukee, which you bought for me on your cross-country trip. My bike is an extension of my personality, and I'm a DIY guy. I like to get my hands dirty. I tore the top end of the engine apart immediately, replacing all the seals. I wanted to understand the engine and learn everything about the bike from the inside out. I've always ridden older bikes because of the lack of electronics. Mechanical bikes are more self-serviceable. I like taking full responsibility for my machines. Older Harleys are fundamental and basic. My dream Harley would have kickstart with zero electronics, but it would have to be more modern.